Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My pleasure to speak on this, the Budget Measures Miscellaneous Fiscal Measures Bill. And the tenor of Mr. Robinson's speech seemed to be that rather than the steady, sensible, predictable budget which has been carrying on in the right direction that this government has delivered, we should somehow be turning things on its head, having big changes in the economy, putting in a capital gains tax, and nationalising the electricity sector, overturning monetary policy with an experiment that no other country in the world has tried. This is time for an absolute upheaval in our economic policy, which makes no sense whatever when we look at the results that we've been delivered in this budget, the sixth budget of Bill English, where after 6 years of hard work by this government and by businesses and New Zealanders generally, from one end of the country to another, we have the economy growing at nearly 4%, wages rising faster than inflation, more money in the budget for families and businesses and the most vulnerable, and business confidence at the highest level in years. And that seems to me, and I think to most New Zealanders, to indicate that this government is taking the economy in the right direction. I was appalled hearing a whopper from Mr Cunliffe in his budget speech saying that Labor previously had delivered 9 surpluses. Well, Mr Cullen said he had a surplus in his last budget, but the reality was the final budget delivered, the final year that Labor was responsible, delivered a $3.9 billion deficit. The 2008 year saw government spending increase by an astonishing 12% in 1 year, leaving a budget of a deficit of $3.9 billion and forecasts of never-ending deficits. And this government has had to pick up the cudgels and get this economy back into shape, and it is a great day. It was a great day yesterday to be able to celebrate a restoration of fiscal responsibility and prudence, and I'm very pleased to be part of a government that has done such a thing. I did want to mention, Mr Speaker, in relation to this bill, the housing affordability aspects of it and the temporary suspension of dumping duties. This is probably the single biggest issue that I hear about in Epsom, a concern about the steadily rising house prices in Auckland, and this government has been very, very active in this sector, because we realise that the biggest issue that we have is constraint of land and a small supply of new houses, and so Nick Smith has been indefatigable in his efforts around the city to increase the supply of land and of new housing. And the other area is the cost of building. And Mr Robinson, I don't like to be unkind about any members on the other side of the House, but to suggest that the cost of building has no impact on the price that first home buyers buy is economically illiterate, because the cost of building a new house does flow through to the overall cost of houses in the city. So this bill will, in a small way, make a difference to the house costs across Auckland by making it cheaper to build new houses. And on that basis, Mr Speaker, I commend this bill to the House. Thank you.
I call Andrew Williams.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. I take a call on behalf of New Zealand First in this